You knew that Bayern has replaced their manager with Thomas Tuchel. We know of Julian Nagelsmann. The Bayern international boss has been shown as a door. And so many managers in Europe have been sacked recently. But let's turn to the Barclays Premier League and throw more light on what has been happening. Recently, a record has been made in the Barclays Premier League this season. 12 managers have been sacked so far, 2 from FC Chelsea and 2 from Southampton. The Crystal Palace boss, which is Patrice Vieira, also has been shown as a door, and the Hotspur manager Antonio Conte, the Italian international, also has been shown as a door and out of the club. But let's turn our attention to the big one, which is London club, who has sacked Graham Potter days back. And we know that Nagelsmann has been the front runner to replace Graham Potter before the introduction of Luis Enrique, the Spanish international manager. We know that days back he flew into London in order to discuss with a Chelsea board on the replacement of Graham Potter. But we learned that Enrique said that he wants a fresh job. He wants to pick the job from the beginning of the season. But yeah, the Chelsea has no choice. It looks like they have to wait for Luis Enrique, the Spanish international. But then they have to replace him to find an interim manager. But no one fit for the job but the man that wants their boss above all. It's no other person but Frank Lampard has been announced as the interim boss to see off the season for FC Chelsea. But before then, so much has been happening in London, and fans were celebrating, jubilating because of the exit of Graham Potter. They feel Graham Potter is clueless, and after over £500 million were spent in the club in order to bring the club back to shape. But yet, Graham Potter was unable to deliver, and he was sacked from the club. And now Lampard has returned back to the club. But let's check what could be the tactics of Frank Lampard for the side of FC Chelsea. Before he part ways with them years back when he was the boss, Lampard enjoyed playing 4-3-3 formation. Where the fullback were given that privilege to join up front in order to make the opposition defenders vulnerable, for the attackers to penetrate and find the ball, and other to ease way to score for the club. But could this be the same formation that Lampard will still be using for FC Chelsea? But nobody knows. Let's see what's going to be. His first test is against Wolverhampton Wanderers, who are battling for their life, because as a stand, the Wolverhampton Wanderers need to sit tight in order not to relegate. So it's a tough test for Lampard tomorrow in the Barclays Premier League. That could be his first test. What could it be? What would the formation of Lampard be? What do you think? Do you think Frank Lampard will be able to rewrite his name in the chronicles of Chelsea as one of the managers has given their all? If Lampard is able to help Chelsea to return back to the European games, maybe the UEFA Europa League or the Conference League, if Lampard will be able to return them back to either of the two, I think that Lampard has done so much for them. But never know what football could bring. But let's see what's going to happen tomorrow. But guys, before then, let's talk what the futures of the Barclays Premier League tomorrow. Manchester United will be up against Everton, and Manchester City by 5 will be up against Southampton, and also FC Chelsea, like we know, will be against Wolverhampton Wanderers by 3, and at the same time Hotspur against Brighton, who are in form. A brighter Brighton will be up against Hotspur tomorrow, which are without a manager after the sack of Antonio Conte. And let's return back to Italy. What has happened days back in the clash between Inter Milan and Juventus? There was a controversial game where Cuadrado 3 red card, but Lukaku was the first to pick up a red card after he was shown the second yellow card by celebrating in the front of the fans of Juventus. But that's not all. Juventus has been sanctioned with a game without fans at home. Supporters, their supporters will be suspended against Napoli when they come to play at home against Napoli for the enchant of racist against Romelu Lukaku in the Italian Serie A side. It's really been a tough one in Europe for black players. Talking about that racist chant from fans. I think the FIFA and the UEFA around the world, they have to do something about this racial word and racial abuse to players in Europe. But guys, let's see what's going to happen concerning the second leg of the Italian Serie A. But let's take features for today's game. It's going to be Napoli will be playing away, and at the same time Empoli also will playing against AC Milan, and Napoli against Leeds away. It's Napoli away against AC Milan, and Lens in the team, and Paris Saint-Germain will be taking on Nice tomorrow. So it's going to be a busy week in Europe tomorrow. But let's see. But let's talk about the game between Manchester United and Everton. United pick up all 3 points at home against Brentford, who humiliated them in the beginning of the season, 4 goals to nothing. at home, but this time it's a payback time. Marcus Rashford gets his name on the score sheet again by finding the back of the net before the stoppage time in the first 45 minutes, and that was how the game ended. All 3 points for Manchester United, and also a clean sheet for David De Gea. Guys, the big talking point of this is we want to talk about the interim boss of Chelsea, which is Frank Lampard. What do you think that Lampard can offer? Do you think Lampard is the right man to see the season off? And do you think the coming of Lampard, there might be a change? Will he return Mason Mount into the team, because Mount was one of his favorite, considering the fact that Lampard says that Mason Mount is a hard-working player with so much work rate? Do you think Mason Mount is returning back to the team? What's your opinion? What do you think of the coming of Frank Lampard? And what do you think is going on? The sack of different managers in the Barclays Premier League. Do you think is the right thing to do? Or do you think the going out and coming of managers is too much in the Barclays Premier League? Guys, drop your comments. Hit the notification bell, and when I drop new video, you'll get my video. Share my video. Like my video. Until I see you again, guys. Bye for now.